Bonjour there, we are 6 episodes in to Project Juggle. We have multiple episodes still to release, with around 2 episodes a month. With the content we currently have, we calculate Project Juggle will last until September 2025. But we have many more awesome ideas for future episodes. Therefore, we have set up a Patreon page and a one-off donations button for anyone who would like to support us, mainly for travel expenses, as this is by far the most costly part of making these episodes. These can both be found in the description. And now for the episode. We hope you enjoy.
Amazing. Lewis, are you recording?
Well, we haven't got, because we haven't got the other one about Tom's stories, funny stories, or...
Well, we haven't got any funny stories. That's what you're not particularly.
The arrival of super-fast chips and the massive amount of data produced on the internet gave Andy and Helen Whitfield the idea that artificial intelligence could actually be possible. So what began? There was an economical battle going on in 1995 between Pixar, Sony, Windows and the Whitfields to see who could release their products first. Bill Gates won with showing off his brand new start button, which was released on the August of the 24th, 1995. Sony came second with the PlayStation. Third was Pixar with the first showing of Toy Story. Last was the Whitfields with the first self-growing AI, Thomas Michael Whitfield, was released on the 6th of December 1995. In all seriousness, Tom isn't really a machine, but he holds very similar characteristics.
Well, I tell you what, he was very naughty. We had to chastise him constantly. But he seems to have this laser focus on task.
We are good to go, guys.
Okay, we are here with Tom Whitfield, and Tom, he just became historic because 13 years after the 11-ball qualify, which is twice the amount of catches as objects juggled, Tom Whitfield became the first person in the world to do the same feature just with 12 balls. 2 cycles of 12 balls, 24 catches. Tom, amazing.
Oh.
Tom, how did it feel to actually get to qualify?
I mean, the moment after I got it, the main feeling was like shock, because I was counting in my head and I counted 24, but like I didn't really believe it, and it definitely took until seeing the footage back to believe it. And then even then, like, it didn't sink in fully, like how much things had changed, because obviously I've been training for it for so long, and then suddenly, you know, on just a normal day like any other practice session, like everything changed essentially.
How many times did you have to check the video to actually believe that you had done it?
It was a few times, and definitely like slow-mo was needed to like really make sure.
Wow.
How confident on a scale of 1 to 100 were you that when you did it, you did do it?
I think I did actually message someone. I was like 80% sure I've got it.
Oh.
But like, you know, even though I was 80% sure, I didn't let myself like celebrate. Like I wanted to be like, you know, it would be terrible to like, you know, celebrate getting it and then review the footage and not done it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tom, how long have you been trying it?
If you mean like trying to qualify, I guess only a few months. Like the first 24 throws in, and the only other 24 throws in the beginning of December. Like it was only a couple of months before then where I was like, there's a chance it will happen. But if you mean like going for 12 will qualify, I guess like 2.5 years.
2.5 years of dedicated work towards this. How much of those 2.5 years were kind of 12 balls the main focus? So when you went to practice, this was the thing that you was building up towards in a long term and short term.
Like, kind of all of it. Like whenever I was juggling, that was the focus. It would depend session to session, like where I was at in terms of form, what I was expecting to do. But since the 11 ball world record, like that was my primary goal.
Wow. And I'm wondering, Tom, why do you bother going for feats that are this difficult and require this much time for you to juggle for, I don't know, 6 seconds or something with 12 balls? Why do you find it worth it in a way to spend all of this time and all of this effort for these few seconds?
That's a good question. I think that's just like where the joy of juggling and like the beauty I find in juggling is from the kind of intensity and like the mix of intensity and skill and things you find within numbers juggling. It's just where the most fun is for me. Like I enjoy lots of other aspects of juggling, but I feel like everything comes together the most when you're kind of at your boundary for like how many props you can qualify.
Wow. This is so cool.
It is. Have you been, through your whole juggling career, what have you been inspired by the most, qualifying or flashing?
Oh, qualifying for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that was
why do you think that is?
Yeah.
I kind of entered the wider juggling community fairly late, so I was juggling it on my own. I think I've discussed this before in like previous conversations with Lewis, but like I'd got to the point where I was doing like 50 catches of 8 balls before I'd really interacted with other jugglers, and that's just what I found naturally fun. I didn't have any outside influence of like how many balls can you do, even if it's just for like a flash. I wasn't really affected by that. I was just sort of doing my own thing, and that was the most fun to me.
Cool. So awesome.
That's really cool. We're going to go more into this and also maybe future plans for what's to come next. But before that, me and Lewis, we have received actually the entire footage of this practice where you actually got the 12 ball qualify, the 24 catches. So right now, Lewis is going to take a little bit over and he's going to do a little bit deep dive. And we're going to compare this session when you got the 12 ball qualify and a session from 1 year prior in February 2024 when Lewis visited you and filmed an entire session. And all of you guys can watch all of this on episode 1 of Project Juggle on our podcast, where we actually document everything before the 12 ball qualify leading up to it. So yeah, Lewis, let's compare.
Cool.
What has changed?
So I've sent you the screenshots, Thomas. The first question is, do you still follow the same practice structure within the week basis? And on the screen I will show the week basis that Tom was aiming for back in February 2024. Do you still follow that?
I think, yeah, I did experiment with other things in between, but since like September, October or so, I'd gone back to basically that. With a small change that on the Friday, you've got maybe like juggling session. I often put that on the Saturday. Like I found doing the half kilo wrist weights the day before a session was actually pretty beneficial for kind of locking things in.
Wow, really? Okay. Cool, Thomas. Out of 10, how confident were you about getting the qualify at these stages within your practice? 1, before you started that practice. 2, when you finish your 5 to 7 ball warm up. After your 8 and 9 ball warm up, your 10 ball warm up, and the 11 ball attempts.
Okay.
So it's 5 there.
Well, I guess going in, I was really just looking for some like concrete progress, as in some more catches, not necessarily qualify.
Okay.
So to like 22 catches, maybe I can speak to the confidence. At the beginning, I would have said I had a good chance, but like maybe 25 to 50% perhaps.
Okay.
That's
I don't know
fine.
that that really changed,
Yeah.
does it? Maybe increase a little bit, especially after 11. Like that was when my confidence was the highest for sure.
Really? Okay. You said in the notes that you sent me that you weren't too bothered about 8 and 9. Therefore, why did he spend 28 minutes in total on 8 and 9, which is 6 minutes longer than the session we filmed back in February 2024?
Yeah, so I wasn't bothered about how well they were going in terms of my confidence, because at least session to session, they're so far from what the actual goal was. Like 8 can be terrible, but then 10 and 11 can be great, and then it can continue with 12. So I wasn't bothered in terms of that. I spent so long at them just because I wanted to warm up thoroughly. And I was having like neck issues. So I wanted to like definitely take things easy and not like, just feel things out as they were going, I guess.
Yeah. Cool, Thomas. Now, on your first attempt of 11 balls, you got 25 throws. And then you got a misrelease on your second attempt. And then you got 24 throws. And then you got 23 throws. How consistent is your 11 balls? Is this normal?
I wouldn't say that's normal, but I wasn't in complete shock. It has been feeling like since maybe autumn, it's been feeling really good. I changed some tiny things about my form, just trying to like get more awareness from my back, and that's made me feel more stable, particularly with like, I think 10 and up. So like that kind of is, it's not the consistency I'd expect every session, but like it wasn't that shocking. And it's definitely what I wanted to have for like a good feeling 12 ball session. Like I've been trying to get 11 feeling consistent and good, because like mentally, if I get to 11 and I can't easily get past like 24 throws, then it's going to be really hard to do that with 12.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, how many catches do you actually see 11 being, or how many catches do you think it's possible to do with 11 now? Do you see yourself doing over 50 catches, or?
I could see at some point, like if I keep training, even if I don't focus on 11, I could see getting a run similar to what I did with 10 last year for 11.
So over 50 is what you're saying.
Yeah, around about 50 I could see being possible at some point.
But because you published a clip quite recently. How many throws? 37?
That was 39. It fell apart
39.
quite a lot.
Yeah, but still.
And I've been comparing like some of the runs in like the 30s that I've been getting with 11, and they just look way more stable and consistent than the world record. Like I feel like, there's a lot more I could do there, I think, for sure.
Wow. This is so cool. I would, one thing we haven't really done yet, Luis, is to kind of one of my prior videos, like what is the speed of juggling? I would love to analyze more the speed of Tom's juggling, because I remember when I tried 9, it was around a little bit over 300 catches a minute for me. And for me, at least at that time, it kind of feels a bit too quick to actually manage in a good way. But I'm 100% certain that 11 balls for Tom is way quicker than 300 catches a minute, way quicker. So it would be interesting to see how many throws a minute can he actually maintain, in a way. Because I'm wondering if Alex Barron, when he did 33 throws, if it was like 370 throws or something a minute, I would guess that you threw a little bit higher than Alex. So maybe like 350 or something. But almost, that would be my guess. But it's quick.
It's quick.
So that would be really cool to analyze as well, I think.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So comparing the two sessions again, despite 11 feeling great, you only did 19 attempts of 11 in your 2025 session, where you got to qualify. But in February 2024, you did 38 attempts of 11. And also the time per attempt. It was 5 seconds longer in 2025.
I mean, I think the obvious answer why it was longer this time is because the runs were longer. At least in part. And I spent less time on it because it was going well. It did what it needed to do. Like, it gave me confidence. It warmed me up for like a higher number. And yeah, I wasn't there to try and break my 11 ball PB. I was there to try and like break my 12 ball PB. So I'd got what I needed to and I moved on. In 2024, there's probably also an aspect of I need to get some good stuff on camera for Lewis, which applies to every number, not just like 12.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is to practice a bit of many things, working up towards your 12 ball goal, compared to doing very little of everything else, but very, very much on 12 balls itself? Or what exercises do you really think is needed to put a lot of effort into? Or could you get away with just doing more warm up like this and not do a lot of 89? Or yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have wondered if I could just like spend 10 minutes in the gym or something and do like pull-ups and target different muscles, and if that would do everything. But I haven't tried that. I have tried. One thing I tried this year was could I warm up with wrist weights and just like get there faster? That didn't work at all. It didn't seem to make any difference. Like, I took them off and it was like, yeah, I'm not even that warm. So for me, I think I have to kind of go through everything and feel good about everything, like feel really dialed in. And even though that takes a while, like I don't think I really lose anything because the previous number is so less intense than the next one. It doesn't really make a difference to me.
Wow.
Maybe I could focus on just one-handed stuff to try and get there quicker.
Okay.
But I'm not committed to that.
No.
I'm not sure.
I like the phrasing you're using, like getting dialed in. And I'm wondering if we need, as jugglers, we need to use more terms like getting dialed in, getting the feel for it, because sometimes that's maybe more what we need than the actual warming up part of the muscles in a way. Even though that also is a huge part of it. I think the reason why jugglers often maybe use 1 hour or more before they actually attempt their hardest feats is because they need to get this dialed in, not because their body isn't ready for it in a way. Or would you disagree with that or see it in another way?
I think I agree with that. Like, the feel is really important. Like, even if my muscles are like ready to like launch the pattern, it doesn't mean that I'm like catching well and feeling like coordinated, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. You got the 12 ball qualify on your 11th attempt of 12 balls, which lasted only 4 minutes. Going back to the confidence scale, how confident were you after your very first attempt of 12 balls? Because it was a misrelease.
I usually don't I don't read too much into misreleases, I guess.
Okay.
So it didn't really affect me. It wasn't like I was expecting everyone after that to go terribly wrong. Okay.
You did say in the notes that you felt strong and the rhythm felt nice. Do you have anything to say about that? Maybe not. I've just told everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how it's up.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, I know for myself as well. I could do an attempt which the throws could be very, very bad in a way, but I'm like, wow, I feel strong. I feel ready. I feel pumped. And this is only like, you don't get that sensation while going for a 7-ball run, you know, you really don't, but you can get it going for the limits of your juggling. If it's also is your kind of your limit in terms of power as well. I think it needs to have both of these things. Because of course 7 balls could be the limit of a juggler, but it's probably not the limit in terms of power as well. And it's kind of this special feeling with numbers juggling. I think that sometimes you're like, wow, today it feels great, not because the throws were good, but my body just exploded in a way, which is a really, really cool feeling.
Mm. You did say earlier on, Tom, about 10 minutes ago, that you changed your form or something when you got up to 11. what did that do for you? Did you get more speed? Did you get more strength? And how did he change your form?
So not when I got up to 11. It's something I've been trying to do for like just all juggling in general.
Okay.
It's just like engaging my back muscles more, so kind of setting my shoulders down and like really feeling it.
Yeah.
That was definitely something I was doing wrong before, and I was kind of aware of it, but I just wasn't sure how to fix that really.
Yeah. And do you feel like it's helped a lot? And how has it helped? For example, increase your rhythm, or has it made your rhythm better, or your strength, or your speed better, or all of combined?
I think it has helped a lot. Kind of stability, which probably speaks to rhythm. To some extent, it feels like I'm utilizing like the bigger muscles in my back more than maybe smaller ones. So I think that helps with fatigue, I guess, through the practice. Probably is what part of what's helped with the 11 ball consistency, like, and what was taken out by the previous attempt, so I can get some more good ones in.
Wow, it's so cool. You've gone into what muscles you're actually using. Like throwing and catching is just this, but it's not just this. It's like football. It's just you score a goal, but it's not just you score a goal. There's so much more to it. You've put so much thought into what the hell's physically, mechanically happening to create what you're trying to create. It's very, very, very cool, Thomas.
Yeah, I also now looked at your when you when you tied the world record, getting 20 catches of 12 balls in async, and now where you got 24 catches. I didn't really analyze the arms and stuff, but I looked at your feet, and it looked very similar with kind of the technique bending just a tiny bit down, but then in the release standing on your toes. And after the release, then you bend down quite a bit and stay kind of grounded while doing the juggling. Is this a conscious choice? Do you think not going up on your toes would be more beneficial? Like, does it create instability? Would you try to bend your knees more, like Erik Tolle, for example, but maybe not as extreme on the release? Or do you think this is my gold standard in a way?
I don't have very strong opinions about it, I don't think. Like, I'm conscious of it in that I know that I do it. And I do it after a certain point. Like, I do feel like I need to like pop up on my toes to get the last bit of power. Well, kind of like balancing everything out to make it kind of, and then make sense overall. I don't know. I never feel unstable. Like, I never feel out of balance. Like, I know Eric's talked about before, when he goes on his toes, he's like, that doesn't work for me. I don't know. Ideally, I would have all the power in my arms and I could just be very grounded and not move at all. Like, surely that's the best option, is to not move. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. It's interesting. Next question. You got the 12 ball qualifier on your 11th attempt. Were you expecting to get it so fast?
I wasn't. That was surprising. Like, often there's a slow build up to the kind of peak for a number in a session, and then I reach the peak and then it kind of waves up and down for like the next half an hour or whatever. So I wasn't expecting like the first peak to be like the very peak, I guess.
Wow. I'm wondering, is this the best 12 balls has ever felt for you?
It's hard because I only did 11 attempts at 12 in the session, so it was like such a small sample.
But in your life, have you gotten some attempts where like, no, this felt more amazing than this attempt where you actually broke the world record?
I don't know. Like, that run felt so good, obviously, but it was also so kind of like overwhelming and surprising. So it's hard to have a clear memory of like what I felt during the pattern. I've had sessions before where it felt like I had a good 20 minutes of like getting them up there consistently and then running a pattern, like actually feeling out 12 a bit.
Yeah.
So like it kind of depends. I don't know.
Yeah.
How close have you gotten before? Like, how many times have you got 24 throws, for example?
This was only the second time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think I have a kind of habit of doing this. Like, if you look at different records I've done, like my like throw record gets fairly ahead of my catch record when I approach like the actual goal, and then just kind of jump up to the thing. Like, I think I don't know. I think subconsciously I know. Like, I was kind of intending to do 22 throws, but also when the pattern feels good, I kind of just keep throwing. So it's either going to fall apart or I'm going to get it. I think it's kind of what happens when I get close to a goal.
Wow. Amazing.
Cool.
Okay, so now, Tom, we have gone through your session, at least almost everything. Because now we're wondering what's next. Because we saw that you did around 20 minutes of 13 balls after you actually had gotten the 12 ball qualify in that session. Is 13 balls next for you? Is it 14? Is it another world record? Where is your motivation headed now?
13 for sure. Like, runs of 13 is pretty exciting to me. It wasn't that exciting in that session. Like, I just kind of did it because I had time, but like I couldn't concentrate at all for any of it. Like, I don't think my heart was in it for a single attempt, honestly. But yeah, that is exciting to me to actually focus on it. And I think, like, looking back, I've not really focused on 13. Like, there was a goal to flash it for a while, but I was always like also working on 11. It's just something like I tacked on at the end of the session. So I've never really focused on it.
Do you think you're going to go straight for like 17 catches to break the world record, or will you first try 15 to tie it, or what is your plan?
I'm not sure. Like, I guess the first goal will be figuring out how I can kind of consistently practice it and have it feel as good as it has felt in the past, like on occasion, but like consistently for every session. Like, working out the kind of volume I need to like do with things to not just go into a session and feel overworked, which I think is my fear with 13.
Wow, okay.
Because it's definitely been with like when I was doing 14 and some 13 over the summer, like the key thing was just to not overdo it and rest, and then go in and actually could have some good attempts.
Yeah. How do you think the earlier parts of your session will change? Like, will you do less even numbers, or do you have any specific plans to really peak at 13 balls compared to peaking at 10 balls during the session?
Like, I think because at least initially it will be more like flashing, even if it was just a few throws over. There's definitely scope for shortening the warm up. Like, I just think you need to feel you don't need to feel as kind of dialed in and as kind of coordinated when it's such a short round.
Good question.
Okay. And now we're wondering, is 12 balls forever going to be the highest number ever qualified with balls? What do you think?
I don't know. Like, people usually like underestimate what's possible in things, and juggling is so niche, so it's hard to imagine that wouldn't be the case for this as well. I believe it's possible for someone that's not even like particularly genetically ideal for juggling to train it and like do it. I don't know if the incentives will like line up given how small juggling is. So I'm not sure.
Wow.
If let's say it wasn't 12, would it be 13 or would it be 14?
I think I could see 13 being the top and no one doing 14. I just think 13 would probably be quite fun. 14 probably not.
Wow.
Do you see you doing the 13 qualify, or is that, what are your thoughts about that?
Probably not, but like I don't want to rule it out. Like, depending what I figure out over the next year or so in terms of like what like 17 to 19 catches of 13 could feel like, then we'll see, I guess.
Amazing. Should we end it there, Lewis?
I think so. That was a very, very quick, straight to the point. That was a very good little podcast, that.
Okay, let's finish up with a massive high five.
Thanks, my man.
Thanks a lot. Okay,
Later.
yeah.
Boom. explosion.